Good day to all the Form 4 and Form 5 students. Today we'll learn advantages and disadvantages of measure of dispersions. Measure of dispersion that you learn, such as range, IR is interquartile range, and standard deviation. Advantages and disadvantages of measure of dispersions. So measure of dispersion are range, interquartile range, IR is interquartile range, and standard deviations. So today our learning standard is to explain the advantages and disadvantages of various measure of dispersion to describe ungrouped data. Okay, you have learned range, interquartile range, and standard deviation, right? So these all are called measure of dispersion because it can measure the distribution of a set of data. Okay, so one of them is the range. Range is you take the biggest minus the smallest, or you take the maximum minus the lowest. Okay, the range is the most easiest to calculate. However, the range cannot provide a good overview of how data is distributed. Okay. In cases where there is an outlier or extreme value, the interquartile range would be more appropriate measure of dispersion to show the distribution of the data. What is the meaning of outlier or extreme value? It means that the data suddenly become very far from other data. It's not consistent. It can be too big or too small. Okay, I give you an example. Let's say your exams marks, majority of the student got maybe 50 above 51, 53, 57, 60, 70, something like that. And suddenly there is one student, maybe her marks is 1 mark or 2 marks. That's called outlier because the marks suddenly very far from the other students, very far from the majority of the data. Okay, standard deviations is usually used to compare two sets of data. In general, a low standard deviation indicates that the data is dispersed close to the mean, while a high standard deviation indicates that the data is dispersed far from the mean. So we prefer a low standard deviation. The lower the standard deviation, the more consistent the data is. Let's see this example. Calculate the range and interquartile range of the set of data 10, 11, 11, 14, 18, 20, 21, 21, 25, and 40. Determine the most appropriate measure of dispersion to be used to measure the distribution of the data set. So if you find range is you take the maximum, which is 40, minus minimum, which is 10. So the range is 30. So if you divide into 4 groups to find the interquartile range, then the interquartile range is 21 minus 11. So interquartile range is most appropriate measure of dispersion because of the existence of the outlier 40. 40 is too far from the other data, so it's called as extreme value. Let's discuss example 11. The table shows the achievement of 2 pupils in 5 physics tests. Okay, Ayman and John sit for 5 tests and their marks. One of the pupils will be selected to represent the school in a physics quiz competition. So determine who is eligible to be selected and justify your answer. So in order to answer a question like this, first step is you have to find the mean marks for both of them. You find mean for Ayman and mean for John. Mean means you have to total up all the marks divided by 5. They have 5 tests. Okay, so 40 plus 70 plus 90 plus 85 plus 64 divided by 5. That is mean mark for Aiman, 69.8. Then you find for John, mean mark, you take 80 plus 65 plus 73 plus 58 plus 73 divided by 5. Okay, then you also notice that their mean are the same. John is having 69.8. Aiman also having mean mark 69.8. That means both of them are equally good. Okay, they are equally good. So we want to find out who is the best candidate for the physics quiz. So we have to use a standard deviation, because the standard deviation can show you how consistent is the marks. So how to find the standard deviation? We have to take the marks square, then plus the other marks. Okay, 40 square plus 70 square plus 90 square plus 85 square plus 64 square over 5. Then minus the mean 69.8 square, and then you square root. So standard deviation for Aiman is 17.67. Okay, then you find for John, standard deviation for John, you take the marks 80 square plus 65 square plus 73 square plus 58 square plus 73 square over 5. Then minus 69.8 square, and then you square root. So your standard deviation is 7.574. So we will choose based on the smaller standard deviation. The smaller the better. The smaller the cuter. Okay, John will be selected to participate in the physics quiz competition. So the standard deviation of John's scores is lower because John's achievement is more consistent. So you need to justify your answer by writing the sentence. The sentence, the standard deviation of John's score is lower because John's achievement is more consistent. Please memorize the sentence. Okay, that's so-called justification. Now I explain again the proper step, okay, to answer this question. First, you write Aiman, then find the mean marks. For Aiman, take the marks 40 plus 70 plus 90 plus 85 plus 64 divided by 5. So the mean is 69.8. And then you find the standard deviation. You take 40 square plus 70 square plus 90 square plus 85 square plus 64 square divided by 5 minus 69.8 square, which is the mean just now. Okay, then you square root. Your standard deviation is 17.67. 17.67. Okay, it's a bigger value of standard deviation compared to John. So the mean mark for John, 80 plus 65 plus 73 plus 58 plus 73 divided by 5, you get 69.8. Okay, it's the same with the just now answer, right? Aiman's answer. Okay, standard deviation, you take 80 square plus 65 square plus 73 square plus 58 square plus 73 square over 5 minus 69.8, then you square root. So the standard deviation for John is smaller, just 7.574. Okay, so the smaller value of standard deviation show that the marks is more consistent. For Aiman and John, mean are the same. They are equally good. Standard deviation for Aiman is 17.67. For John is 7.574. So who will be selected? Of course, we will choose a smaller value of standard deviation, which is John. So John will be selected to participate in the physics quiz competition. The standard deviation of John's score is lower because John's achievement is more consistent. Alright? Hello students, this is your homework. I prepare a few questions for you to do. Okay, please try on your own first. I will discuss later. After you finish your homework, please take photo, send to my Gmail account. Okay, I will double check, and if any mistake, I will send feedback to you. Okay, after you try, you still cannot get the answer, so let's see how to do. Okay, calculate the range and interquartile range. This one we did before, right? Before that. Okay, first of all, you have to arrange the data in order, arrange from small to big. So range is you take the biggest, 29, minus the smallest, 29 minus 2, so the range is 27. Interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So first of all, you divide the data into two groups. You find the median first, then you find the third quartile, then you find the first quartile. Okay, then you take Q3 minus Q1. So first quartile is 16, so interquartile range is 27 minus 16, 11. Hence, interquartile range is the most appropriate measure of dispersion. This is because there is an outlier 2 or extreme value 2. So range is having dispersion of 27 and interquartile range dispersion 11. So interquartile range is better measure of dispersion. For question 2, you need to show the proper step that just now I explained to you. Okay, you have to use the concept of the smaller of standard deviation, shows the data is more consistent. Let's discuss question 2. Mr. Rakesh wants to choose one of his two pupils to represent his school in a national business quiz competition. Mr. Rakesh gave 5 tests to the two pupils. So the following are the result of the test. So determine the appropriate measure of dispersion to be used by Mr. Rakesh to make the selection. Step 1, we'll find mean. Okay, we plus 32 plus 61 plus 75 plus 82 plus 90 divided by 5. So mean is 68. Then we find standard deviation. Sum of data square. 32 square plus 61 square plus 75 square plus 82 square plus 90 square over 5 minus 68 square. So standard deviation is 20.37. Okay, then we will find for pupil B the mean. So we plus 50 plus 67 plus 70 plus 73 plus 80 divided by 5. So it's equal to 68. Okay, followed by we will find the standard deviation. So we take the marks 50 square plus 67 square plus 70 square plus 73 square plus 80 square over 5 minus 68 square. So the standard deviation is 9.98. So standard deviation of pupil B, okay, looks like smaller compared to pupil A. So we need to. So pupil B's mark is more consistent due to the smaller value of standard deviation. Okay, question number 3 also you need to do in the exercise book, and please take photo and send to my Gmail account for these 3 questions for today's homework. Calculate the range, interquartile range and standard deviation for the monthly salaries of the company. Okay, so first of all, we need to find the range. The range is the maximum minus the minimum. Okay, so 3000 minus 900, 2100. Interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So the median is happen at the 1000. So then we will choose third quartile, okay, which is 1230 minus the first quartile, which is 920. Okay, at the middle 920. So then the answer is 310. Okay, that is the interquartile range, followed by standard deviation. So we will find sum of data square. So 900 square plus 920 square plus 950 square plus 1000 square plus 1100 square plus 1230 square plus 3000 square over 5 minus the mean square. Mean, you have to sum up everything, then divide by 7, then don't forget to square the mean, and then you just square root your answer. You square root your answer to get standard deviation. Okay, so you need to double check carefully. Okay, the answer is 702.22. So interquartile range is the most appropriate measure of dispersion due to existence of outlier 3000. Students, that's all for today. So please enjoy doing maths at home. Have a nice day. Bye. See you soon.